Welcome to What It's Worth, the show where we look at a game's retail value and see if it's worth the price. If you're looking for the song of the similar nature by Buffalo Springfield, I'm sorry I can't help you. Today, we're going to look at a game where monkeys gain super intelligence and try to take over humans. Ape Escape. What the fuck?
Released in 1999, the 3D collectathon Ape Escape, or Sorogetyu in Japan, was released on the original PlayStation. The game was published, produced, and developed by Sony Computer Entertainment. When the game was first released, it was given great critical acclaim, got great high scores from multiple reviewers, and even going so far as to earn the 100th place in Game Informer's Best Games of All Time list, posted in 2001. Now that's all well and dandy, but we know how games are. Some age like a fine wine, and well, some age like...
Let's just talk about the story.
All these monkeys live in a park, and there's this professor named... The Professor. And his assistant actually has a name. Her name is Natalie. They've made a helmet that gives the wearer super intelligence. Imagine the possibilities. Anyone wearing that helmet could, I don't know, learn how to operate complex machines, form a militarized society.
Resent the people who put them in a fucking zoo. But that's only if some idiot would put the helmets on the monkeys. And I bet you can't guess what happens next. No, really, guess.
The evil monkeys have a leader, of course. The leader is white and evil, and the henchmen are brown and follow orders.
I think I'm just gonna move on from this.
They escape in the professor's time machine, and you, the player character, of course, are sucked in too, because plot. With the professor and Natalie supplying you with tools, instructions, and encouragement, it's up to you to wrangle up the monkeys across all time and space.
What's your relationship between them? I have no idea.
The opening cutscene is just you and your friend running into a lab and fighting over who gets to test the professor's time machine. But of course, you and your friend enter the lab just in time to witness the monkey revolution. What happens to your friend after the time burst? He's one of the bad guys now. No, this is never explained either.
So maybe the story isn't the game's strong point, but maybe it's how the story's told. How's the voice acting?
Spectre, what's going on here? What are you planning to do?
Well, that was god-awful. Let's see how the professor does.
Spectre, you must listen to me carefully. It's true that the peak point helmet will augment your intelligence to heightened levels when it's worn. However, it is still incomplete. It's never been tested and may be very dangerous to use. I insist that you bring the peak point helmet back to me immediately.
I refuse to believe this man has a PhD. I understand that you can mess up the monkey thing. Okay, no I don't. However, you can fail as a scientist, but it's on a whole nother level to fail as a native speaker of the English language. And in this day and age, there is no excuse because editing exists. And if, you just mess up a line or something happens, it's easy to take out. It makes your production quality look bad. It's embarrassing.
But enough ragging on this game. The gameplay is actually the part that I really wanted to talk about. It is so good. There are 22 different levels, split between 7 worlds, all different sizes and themes.
The worlds do feel very vastly different from each other, so it does feel like you're traveling through time. It creates a really nice atmosphere.
Another thing that really adds to the atmosphere of this game is the music. It has a very cartoony sound to match the silliness of the game, and each level has a track that matches it perfectly, whether it be the Dino Land level or the Futurama level. As I said earlier, your job is to round up all the monkeys, returning them to their ignorance and enslavement. I am still ignoring this, by the way. There actually is a stealth mechanic to this game. The helmets that the monkeys wear actually have little lights indicating whether or not they've seen you. So what you can do is crawl around and try to stay hidden. And if they see you, they end up freaking out and running around. But if you can stay hidden enough and get up close to them, you can snatch one of those monkeys nice and up close. And as you go through levels, you can find hidden collectibles called Spectre coins, aptly named after the monkey's crazy leader.
Collecting the coins unlocks you minigames. There's 3 in all.
The first mini-game is a skiing game, which has really stiff controls, is not fun at all, and terrible. The second mini-game's controls are actually worse somehow. This is a monkey boxing game, which borderlines on hilarious bad and hilariously broken. It's hard to tell there's any weight behind your punches when your arms have no bones and move like jello, but it does make for a pretty intense fight if I do say so myself. Welcome to the Spectre boxing fight. In the left we have the invincible Pugs, and on the right we have the fearsome Noah. This is sure to be a great fight, and it's starting now! Then there's also the fact that you and your opponent regain health so fast that nobody can lose, pretty much making the game pointless. Third game is a wave-based shoot 'em up, and its biggest plus is not being one of the other 2 minigames. In all seriousness though, it's pretty fun. The only reason why I'm not going to talk about it too much is just because of the fact that there's not much to say. It's just a really fun shooter. It's a really good distraction.
But at their best, that's really all these minigames are. Distractions. Nothing amazing. But let's get back to the meat of the matters, catching monkeys.
You advance by using vehicles. Oh wait, I read that wrong. You're still catching apes. You actually get a bunch of cool gadgets in the game that you slowly unlock throughout, like a net, a slingshot, a fan, a monkey radar, a toy car, a boxing glove. Oh yeah, because this game is really proud of its boxing physics.
So the concept of the game is actually very interesting. However, that does not mean bubkiss though if the controls aren't great. But that's actually the interesting part of Ape Escape itself, is the controls. It is the first game ever to require a DualShock analog controller on the PlayStation. So what this means is the controls are going to be vastly different from any other 3D platformer you've played before.
The left joystick controls your movements. The left D-pad controls your camera movement. L1 centers the camera, while L2 lets you go into first-person mode. R1 and R2 let you jump around. The face buttons are how you switch your weapons, and the right stick is how you actually attack, which is a very good pattern, and this control scheme works very well.
The right analog stick actually adds an extra dimension to your attacks, because of the fact that you're not just pressing a button to use the tool, you're actually swinging the analog stick, which gives you this great feeling of control that very few games actually do. Difficulty-wise, this game is very easy, especially for an early 2000s game, especially when you can fly.
There's no stopping me. I'm burning through the sky, yeah. 200 degrees.
Now, as far as collectathons go, this game is decently short. It'll take anywhere from 7 to 10 hours to beat, depending if you're trying to 100% the game or not. Despite most of the minigames being very poor quality and the laughably bad story, Ape Escape is actually a very fun experience. The controls are really unique and you don't see them anywhere else, and they give you this great feeling of accomplishment when you've caught an ape or when you use a tool, and they've held up well over the past years. Now it's time to get down to brass tacks. A used copy of Ape Escape can cost anywhere from $15 to $20. That will get you the game, the jewel case, and the manual. For this price, you're getting some good quality entertainment for a couple hours of fun. So, if you're at a store or looking around online and you find this game, I really do recommend picking it up. You will be certain to have some good fun.
Yes!